Courtesy of the Oracle VirtualBox, we're going to show you how to install Ubuntu 14.4 desktop. As the system boots, you will first see that little screen that is a good sign that shows it's able to talk to your graphics display. It may take a few seconds for it to come up. That's another good sign. We see Ubuntu 14.04. That's the right version we want to install, and the little dots are showing that it's installing. This message you will probably not see. We're getting this because we're running in a VirtualBox and we haven't set something to make it happy. At some point, once you boot off the CD, DVD, you will come up with the Ubuntu desktop. It's important that you realize you have to set your machine to boot off the CD or DVD. You may have to press a function key during boot or check your machine manual to find out how to make a boot off the CD if it doesn't by default. You have a choice of trying Ubuntu or installing Ubuntu. Personally, I like to try Ubuntu first, make sure it's going to come up and the display is going to look okay. That's usually my main concern. This new Ubuntu likes a good graphics display adapter, and if you have less than a good one, you may have less than happy results. So it's always good to check first. Here we see we came up with a desktop. It shows us the new desktop shortcuts, which we'll cover in another section of the course. It's kind of handy, especially if you're new to this desktop. Now once we have it, we can always click the Install Ubuntu icon on the desktop to start the install. But as we showed in an earlier video, it's nice to have it to test and try opening some of your existing documents and music files with it and see if they'll work. Anyway, we'll start the install now. And once you start the install, the first thing you do is select the installation language, click Continue. Now if you have a connection to the internet, you can select download updates while installing, and also we recommend to install third-party software. That way you'll be able to view the videos on this course with no issues. We have a section in the detail that shows you some options as far as having the internet connectivity. If you're installing a new system, which in this case we are, our only real choice is to erase disk and install Ubuntu. We're not going to do encryption. We're not going to play with logical volume management. If you choose something else that will give you some more options, which we do not recommend if you're a beginner, we'll show them to you briefly here to satisfy curiosity. That opens up a GUI dialog for partitioning the disk. There's quite a bit of choices here that will go over in a more advanced section of this course. You would pick New Partition Table to continue. If you want to explore this, that's fine. You always have a way to bail out, as you see here. You can continue or go back. If you're new, we don't recommend doing the advanced partitioning. Here it shows us we have the free space on the disk and we can start to go through this dialog of partitioning. Now, in a couple of seconds we're going to show you how you can bail out of this and go back to a standard erase disk. If you have a existing operating system, then there's other options that will appear for that, and we detail those in the lab exercise itself. For now we're just doing a plain basic install. So anyway, we can go back. I'm going to pick the first choice, erase disk and install. If you have an existing system and you want to do a boot, that's not what you want. But as you see in the lab, there are different options for that. So we can click Continue from this screen. Again, we select the install language. You should select your language. It verifies that we have the necessary choices selected here. We hit Continue. We hit Install Now. It is now erasing the disk, formatting it, partitioning it, formatting it, and setting it up for us. We have to select our time zone using this graphical interface. If you're someplace, normally if you connect to the internet, it will select your correct time zone. If not, you can work your way through this world map, click on an area, and it will show you the time zone for your geographic location. I happen to be in New York, so that's what we're going to use for this demo, but if I was in Chicago or someplace else, I could just as easily pick that. So we'll use New York since that's where I happen to be for this demo. Then we're going to select our keyboard layout. I'm selecting English and English US. There is an option to detect the keyboard over here, which you can click and it will walk you through a dialog of pressing keys. Now we enter our full name. We can take the default computer name it suggests, or we can rename it ourselves. It's important that each computer has a unique name on each network. We're going to let the username as login be John. Now here we're entering a password. As you can see, it's not a very good password, and it's telling us that. If we want to, we can make the password better by mixing upper and lowercase letters, adding numbers and other special characters. Here you see we added some extra characters to our password, and now it says it's a fair password. I'm going back to the very simple one because that's one I use for testing all the time. It doesn't matter in this case. You should pick a good password for your system. It may be your last line of defense. That's all we have to enter. At this point, we're just waiting for it to finish copying the files, and we'll see a nice little slideshow, which you can navigate through, by the way, by the navigation arrows that appear on the right and left side of the screen. This is the first slide, so there's no back arrow. And it's a good idea to look through this, especially if you're new to Ubuntu, because it will show you the many features of Ubuntu Linux that you're getting along with the install. For instance, here's the software center. We'll let you pick and install additional software. We have the Rhythm Box music player, and you can go forward and backward through this slide presentation and read through it while the system's installing. Your system install progress is shown down here for you. This is some of the photo tools. Shotwell is installed by default. GIMP you have to add after the fact. For browsers, the Firefox web browser is installed by default. You can also add Flash, and you can also install the Chromium browser if you prefer later on. So we suggest you look through this slideshow dialog and get familiar with what you're getting. Here is the LibreOffice package, which includes LibreOffice Writer, Calc, and Impress. Writer is for creating documents, Calc is a spreadsheet-like program, and Impress makes presentations just like the one we're seeing here. You can customize your desktop any way you like. There's also assistive technologies for those that need a little extra help, that may have some disabilities or be challenged. So that's a good thing to look through. Meanwhile, you see our progress has been steadily moving in the right direction, and soon this will be installed. Once the system has completed its installation, you'll see this prompt. You can click Continue Testing, which will let you run the live CD, or Restart Now, which should prompt you to remove the installation medium as part of the reboot process. And after it reboots, you should get your login prompt.